From the Empire State to the Golden Gates, this is Quad Radio USA.
Oh, yeah.
Now, with all the dirt from the world of ATV motocross and GNCC racing, here's Mr. 10 Seconds, Rodney Tomlin.
Welcome to Quad Radio, as today we say thanks to our friends at Tire Balls, the flat-proof inflation system for your ATV, motorcycle, or even any off-road vehicle. Be sure and check out tireballs.com. Also contact Pat McGuire, and if you tell him you heard about him right here on Quad Radio, you'll receive an extra 10% off on all new customers. And this week we come to you from the all-new and inaugural running of the Limestone GNCC in Springville, Indiana, and we turn our attention to the amateur ranks of ATV racing and our College B class in particular. The rider we're going to be talking to here this evening is one Jay Shadron. And Jay, we say hello and welcome to another GNCC, man. It's really hard to believe that we've got 5 rounds of racing already under our belt already.
Yeah, it's been a great year so far. Just having a lot of fun.
That's for sure. You know, and you look at the results right now, it looks like you're having a spectacular year. 5 races down, and you've won all 5 rounds.
Yeah, it's been real good for me this year. I've been working real hard and just trying to stay consistent.
Now tell me a little bit about heading into this year. Last year, what class were you running? And you hadn't stepped up to the big bikes quite last year, had you?
I was running the Schoolboy AB.
And that was a pretty good learning experience for you as you were making your progression, I guess, onto the big bikes, huh?
Yeah, I ended up second that year. It was an all right year. I could have done better some races, had a little trouble, but it was still a great year.
I'll tell you, before we get into the meat of what's going on here so far in this 2012 season, a little backstory on you, man. I mean, you are a true GNCC prodigy, I guess you could say, because you've come up through the youth ranks. And you and your family's been at this for quite some time.
Yeah, started in 06 in the youth ranks and still racing now.
Tell me a little bit about your youth career.
Well, in the youth, I won 3 championships. The first year, I ended up 4th, and then after that, I won the next 3. Then I moved up to a Schoolboy Novice, ended up winning that, and then Schoolboy B ended up 2nd that year, and this year, it's College B.
And also continuing with the backstory, this is a family sport for you guys. I mean, your dad races, your mom's raced, your sister used to race, and actually your sister, Cheyenne, used to be one of the top girl riders and was expected to be one of the top women riders, but she's kind of decided to step back a little bit, huh?
Yeah, after that wreck at Unadilla, she hasn't really been into it.
So that kind of took the wind out of her sails. But, I mean, it's a family thing. I mean, even though she's not racing, the entire family's still out here in support of you, right?
Yeah, definitely. My mom's always out there in the woods helping, and Dad at the pits, and Cheyenne's always at the pits helping, too.
Now, let me ask you a question. Among those 3, which one's the most intense?
Probably my dad, because in the morning no one can even talk to him. He's just completely focused on everything.
Really? And what does he do for you?
He just checks the bike, make sure everything's okay, gets the fuel and everything ready, and just focuses on the race.
It kind of takes some pressure off you then, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I just ride.
Now, where is it you guys are exactly from?
Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania.
So you're kind of used to, I guess, adverse conditions as far as riding and stuff. Did you ride long before you started racing, or did you start racing like soon after you got an ATV?
I started riding at about 4 years old, and then right after that we got into obstacle courses, and then we did a few years of motocross, and then my dad got into cross country, and then I kind of wanted to do what he did, so that's how we got into it.
Any regrets on making that choice?
No, not at all.
So obviously you found a pretty good niche, because we're talking College B is what you're riding this year, and I mean, making that step up from the morning race to the afternoon race, number one, that's a pretty big step, and into the college class, you know, from what is relatively a youth class with that schoolboy class and everything. I mean, some pretty big steps, but obviously it looks like something you were ready for.
Yeah, I've just raced locals on 450s, so I was pretty prepared for it, but it is definitely a big change. Tracks are a lot rougher.
Seems like a longer 2 hours than it was in the morning.
Oh, definitely.
Now, let's talk about this year in particular now. It's been a stellar year, 5 wins out of the first 5 rounds. I mean, is that anything that, I mean, obviously that's your goal, that's what you want, but I mean, was it anything you really expected to be reality at this time?
No, I didn't expect it at all. I was hoping to win a couple, but not all of them.
Now, tell me about how the racing has broke down for you. I mean, has it been a situation where you go out and just flog it and win, or what?
Well, some are, some aren't. Like, sometimes I get the whole shot and just kind of pull away a little bit. Then a few other races, I've got a bad start and had to work through everybody and battled with a few.
Who's some of the stiff competition in that class?
Greg Covert and Kevin McCowan are pretty tough.
Are you guys pretty good buddies?
Yeah, I talked to him, but I don't have any problems with anybody.
They got to catch you to have problems with you, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. So with this in mind, I mean, with the success and the way things are going right now, what are kind of the future plans? Are you going to stick around in that college class for a while, or what?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I might go to College A at the end of the year or next year, but I don't know if I'll go any farther than that.
Now, how old are you now?
16.
Wow, so you're just barely big enough to ride the big quads, huh?
Yeah.
So how's Mom and Dad feel about all this?
Well, they wanted me to make the decision at the beginning of the year. It was either sport class or this, and I decided this would be a lot less money.
And why is that? I mean, how is it less money to run this college class versus the sport class?
Well, we really already had all the parts for a 450, and then for a 400, we'd have to buy the quad and build it, and it would cost a lot of money.
Wow, you're thinking pretty financially. That's pretty good for a 16-year-old kid, man. I'm got to say I'm impressed with that. Now, with your family being in the sport and as deep-rooted as you guys are, I got to wonder, do you have a lot of support, say, like, a lot of folks wanting to sponsor and everything?
Somewhat. We got a lot of help from Tire Balls, GBC, Fly Racing. Senge Graphics helped us out a lot this year. And we've always been Flex Bars, Power Mads. We got discounts from all them. Scott Goggles. And we got a lot of help from Wrath this year, actually, and Hyper. Some from Hyper too. Wow, man! It sounds like every little bit counts, then, huh? Yeah, definitely. Now we know about your racing and everything. Let's talk on a personal level. What grade are you in? 10th. So what do you do Monday through Friday and on off GNCC weekends? I mean, this is only 13 weekends a year. You're at a GNCC, 14 if you include the banquet. What happens the other 40-some weekends a year, 30-some weekends a year? Well, I try to race. I try to get a race in before the national, like on a weekend. But other than that, we just go fishing during the week and mess around with friends and stuff. So you got a normal life at home then? Yeah. You like to fish? What's the biggest fish you've ever caught? I caught a 22.5-inch bass. How much did it weigh? About 7.5 pounds. Wow, that's a pretty good sized fish. Now, is this recently? It was December, I think, so up in my camp. I was pretty surprised to pull it out of that pond. I can imagine. That's pretty cool. So well-rounded individual. I mean, you guys eat, breathe, drink, sleep, racing, but there is other things in your lives, huh? Yeah, definitely. But you're not a basketball player. I mean, you're a pretty tall kid. No, everybody tells me that, but I don't really have any interest. Well, that's great. But I'll tell you, man, you got all the interest out here in GNCC racing. What's kind of your goals this year? I know obviously to win the championship, but let's talk long-term goals in GNCC. Is this something you want to be doing for a while? I do, but I also don't want to put that much time in to be on the pro level or anything. But I'd like to go to College A next year and see how I do there. But after that, I'm not sure what I'll do. Think about it when it comes. Just kind of play it by ear. And I mean, obviously, things are coming pretty easily to you. You're not getting bored with it already, are you? No, not really. I was going to say, man, it's tough to get bored of winning, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that's great, man. Congratulations to you on the outstanding year this year so far, and your career in general as an ATV GNCC racer, man. I just want to wish you all the luck and the well with this year and the upcoming future, whatever it is you decide, man. If you want to go pro racing someday, if you just want to do this for fun the rest of your life, man, I hope it all works out for you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Anybody you want to send any shouts out to or anything? Definitely my mom and dad and sister. They always support me a lot. And all my sponsors, the Tire Balls, GBC, Flex Bars, Power Mad, Wrath, Hyper, Scott Goggles, and That's about all.
All righty, man. That's good enough. That's Jay Shadron. I'm Rodney Tomlin. This is Quad Radio.